Hey folks, so today we will talk about the personal knowledge graphs and zettelkasten and how to empower the personal knowledge graph actually in Obsidian with help of the artificial intelligence agents and why we need it. So I already made a couple of videos about what the personal knowledge graph is, how it could help us, and why it's matter. So it's mainly about the sovereign data and soft data, so your ideas, your thoughts and all those things. I believe that it's a quite important source of the information for the personal assistant and artificial intelligence, so you could have a lot of benefits. So just in short, that personal knowledge graph it's a set of entities that connected with the some kind of relation, so it's the graph structure, but the main idea that the center of this graph structure is you, and this information always relevant to you. So it's information about you or about something that you really care. And how the personal knowledge graphs actually help us. So we have a lot of challenges in a personal knowledge management space and information management space that even get worse with the electronic form and rise of the internet and accessibility to the different sources of information. So one of the biggest challenges is the information overwhelming. So every day we process the gigabytes of data, we produce the gigabytes of data. But it's a problem that there's so many information that fail on our head that it's really hard to get this information to something meaningful, and we need some form of compression of the information that we could digest this information in the future. And personal knowledge graphs, as a majority of the semantic graphs, actually have this compression function because they distill the information to the entities and relation between these entities. And in some point you will discover that if you read or process a lot of information about the similar topics, you have a lot of similarities and a lot of connections that are already there. So in a long run, you have more condensed information that are more searchable and user-friendly. Another big challenge is the fragmentation. So the fragmentation is similar to the fragmentation of the identity and the general problem of the fragmentation of information in the internet. So what I mean, that something sitting in your Kindle, something it's a bunch of the PDF papers that you download and you are not able to find them anymore because it was some archive identifiable name and all those things. So it's a nightmare to work with this stuff. Something it's a paper book because it was no online book at all, and it's only the handwriting somewhere, and so forth, and a bunch of the internet pages and internet links. And the tricky thing about the PDFs and internet, that internet is not immutable. Sometimes it's just disappear and pages disappear. So but the biggest problem that all your clippings, all your web page bookmarks and all those things, they sitting in the different applications, and it's no way to connect them together. So they heavily fragmented, and you need to work as a archivist and remember where it was and how to find it. And it's a huge problem. And the personal knowledge graphs, and I will describe you a bit my setup, how I fixed this problem with the Obsidian without the personal knowledge graphs. But with personal knowledge graph, it's even more powerful, because for example what I'm doing, that everything that's sitting in my Kindle and all the highlights I'm able to export to Obsidian with the Kindle plugin. The PDFs I just store in a paper folder, and I have the PDF annotation where I have the separate MD file with all the highlightings and the notes that related to this PDF. And these two guys, they already saw us for my zettelkasten as a literature notes. And I could create more fine-grained literature notes. After that, I could apply the summarization and hierarchical highlighting. And after the highlighting and summarization, I'm able to produce the permanent notes that have some distilled ideas that I'm able to connect together. And the main benefit that I have the immutable copy of the information some summaries, my ideas, and fine-grained distilled information as the permanent node. So it's how it's usually works. So the Kindle plugin, the PDF annotations, the Obsidian Clipper, the same as a video plugin that allows me to capture some timestamps on the video. I'm not downloading the video, but actually it's useful, and so forth and so forth. And somehow I form my notes. And how the zettelkasten is working, that you fine-graining the permanent nodes, produce the new permanent node. That's one part of work. Another part of work that you permanently create the links and changing the context of the nodes, and maybe creating the new links. And as a result, you have this graph-like structure. Everything is super cool, but I have a separate video how I enhanced the Obsidian to put the more meaning and make it more personal knowledge graph, not just connected nodes, that you have ability to put the name on the link, set the context of this link, and in some point of time we already have not just the zettelkasten, we have something like the general knowledge graph. But it's super easy to take this general knowledge graph right now that have links to something more personal. So you just add in the node, naming it's me, and explain shortly when you add the new nodes and new information why it's mattered to you. And actually in a personal knowledge graph, every node is connected to me. Maybe it's not always useful to create these links, but sometimes it's super useful to explain why this information you're adding and why it's matter for you as a person. And it's really, we already have the personal knowledge graph, we are done. Just with the plain Obsidian and couple of plugins, we solved the problem of the fragmentation. But one of the big problems, except the fragmentation, is the retrieval and search. And for this, we need a better tools, because what Obsidian gives us is not so sufficient. Because yeah, you could search on the free text search, you could search on text. When you open the even enhanced knowledge graph representation like Google, it's still super easy to get lost. Yeah, it's nice pictures, but it's hard to get the meaning out of these pictures, unfortunately. And then the retrieval is the challenge, and how we could improve this challenge. So right now in your personal knowledge graph, you're creating the links yourself, so you need to link it. But what I figure out over the time, and what I figure out using our product, my team, that my conversations and even the short note contain huge amount of entities. And to map all these entities manually, it's overwhelming. And sometimes you overlook some relations. That's why it's super cool to make the combination of your zettelkasten as this idea connected graph with the superpower of the artificial intelligence. What I mean? That we take your node and apply the entity and name recognition process. So we identify some entities in your node. Then we apply the graph LLM or the graph AI agent that connect these entities together with the relations. And every node right now have this concept map or the super small knowledge graph itself. And it's already useful because you have a lot of connections that you overlooked, that you could use, that it's a quick snapshot of your node that could give you the quick meaning, what it's about, and how the different things correlate together. And it's already the huge enhancement. But the next step, that we somehow pull all these small personal graphs to the more bigger graph, and we create the semantic graph of the entities. And it's mean that right now we get some magic, because a lot of nodes from the different nodes and different ideas will contain the same entities. And as a result, we will have this two-layer structure. That one layer is your ideas and links that you created by you with some context and meaning. and you could see my separate video and another Medium article that explain how to make it more visible in Obsidian. And another layer is the full-scale semantic graph that have the condensed entities and concrete relations, and this semantic graph connected back to your personal knowledge graph of the zettelkastens. And that means that right now we create the bridge between the nodes that may be not directly connected with each other. But right now you could apply some advanced technologies and advanced tools like the graph analysis and the links prediction and all those things to see something that you never see before, because now you have a deeper connection of your thoughts. And actually right now we have a product, Mykin, that we create this semantic layer for a user, and you could export it, you could work with it, you could even query it. It's super cool. And in future, I believe that our project will grow big enough to have the maybe the stock version and maybe some kind of integration with the Obsidian. If you want to take a look and test it, go to mykin.ie. So it's super cool, and I already see the huge enhancement of my conversation with the LLMs, because they have the semantic layer and the memory, and it's completely different level. But if we get back to the Obsidian, how we could make this super cool idea happens. First of all, I see that we already have a lot of local LLMs that working, but they offer some really strange possibilities. Yeah, the vector search is super cool, I like it. Chatting with your nodes sometimes could be creative, but what we really lacking is the entity recognition models and graph models that really could take your nodes, produce the hierarchical summaries, connect them together, and actually extract the entities and create the links between the entities. So I hope that maybe in some point we will open source the work that we have in our project, but I believe that it's not so hard to train the LLM, the general one. So the Olama, maybe it's a good tool that you could have the Olama, then have some graph specific models and all other things, and apply a couple of the classical machine learning algorithms and so on. So I really believe that such kind of project with the combination of two-layer graphs, graph of your idea and graph of the semantic memory, really could give you the boost and lift you to the next level of the creativity. And yeah, if you're keen to work on this, or if you want to know more about this personal space and the personal knowledge graphs, follow my YouTube channel, follow me on the Medium. It will be the article, maybe with more drumming and explaining how these things works. And actually, just let me know, I will be happy to chat with you. Choose.